Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to Purposes Crossed, where I hope that people who are called by Jesus for different purposes cross paths and exchange ideas. Last time in this series of reflections, we had started on the Sermon on the Mount. We dealt with the first beatitude in that video. Today, we move to the second beatitude. So let's begin by reading Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Laugh, and others will laugh with you. Cry, and you will cry alone. We are all too aware of this truth behind this aphorism. When we are up, when things are going well, people might even flock to us. However, when faced with tragedy, most often we are left to fend for ourselves. Yet it is precisely those who are mourning that Jesus blesses with comfort. Now, we should observe that Jesus does not restrict the blessing to certain types of mourning or certain reasons for mourning. The blessing is all-encompassing, including everyone who has felt, who now feels, or who will feel that this world is not as it was meant to be. Now here we must be clear that mourning is not some passing feeling of dissatisfaction or frustration that one experiences when, for instance, one misses a bus or is caught in a traffic jam. Neither can we say that we are mourning when we stand to benefit from whatever supposedly caused our tears. For instance, we do not truly mourn the death of a loved one if we are simultaneously planning how to enjoy whatever the deceased person has bequeathed us. To truly mourn is to be willing to reverse the circumstances if we had the power, while acknowledging that we do not have such power. Now, Jesus' blessing is in the passive voice. This keeps the identity of the person who does the comforting secret. While this would be a way to avoid using God's name, this does not seem to be Jesus' intent. After all, Jesus is quite able to address God as his Father. Why then would he need to use a passive voice to avoid mentioning God directly? More probable is that he used the passive voice precisely because of the ambiguity inherent in it. The hearers are left with some uncertainty about the identity of the Comforter. The effect of this is explosive. If I insist that God does the comforting, though Jesus does not mention God, I can never be sure that God will not use me to comfort someone who mourns. Furthermore, if I am in mourning, I cannot preclude God's using another human to comfort me. Indeed, it is more likely that Jesus uses the passive voice because God uses humans to comfort humans. Now, of course, we could remember that Jesus is the man of sorrows. If then we believe that he comforts us because he is acquainted with sorrows, we must also realize that God can comfort others through us because we are acquainted with sorrow. Perhaps the only comfort we will receive is the knowledge that God will redeem our sorrows, not by taking away our wounds and pain, but by using our sorrows for the healing of others. Perhaps this beatitude is trying to teach us that the only healers are wounded healers, the only comforters, mourning comforters. Thank you.